Welcome to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast.
The real estate market is shifting. The time is now.
The Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast is your home for the mindset, tactics, and tools needed to break through your limiting beliefs and find freedom by investing in foreclosure deals.
Don't buy a house, buy a deal. You need to get into this right now.
And now, your host, the Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donny Coram.
Hello, and welcome back to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. I am your host and Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donny Coram, recording live from our downtown Colorado Springs studios with my executive producer, Mr. Chris Lawler. How's it going, buddy?
It's going good. I don't have a microphone.
That's Chris in the background. Let's get to it. Now, normally, guys, we talk a lot on this show about what's happening with the foreclosure marketplace. Obviously, it's the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. We're here to discuss real estate investing, but I want to get real with you. Is it cool if we take a step back and get a little real for a bit? Because one of the things I think a lot of people are dealing with when they're getting into real estate investing, it's what's called imposter syndrome. Now, I'm going to post a quick link to just some video I found on this imposter syndrome thing. But let me tell you, the idea behind imposter syndrome is that you don't believe that you qualify or are worthy or are somehow qualified to be a real estate investor. And it's something that I deal with pretty much all of my clients. Whether you're a real estate pro, right, who's already been doing this. You remember if you're like a licensed agent, for instance, remember when you first got your license and you were worried about that question, well, how long you been selling houses? And you knew that you'd gotten your license like 4 hours earlier and you didn't want them to know that, right? Remember that feeling you may have gotten in any profession, but really in real estate, a lot of people are looking for a certain level of experience in order to call themselves qualified to be in this game. I want to help you out here a little bit, okay? Because that imposter syndrome, that belief that you can't, for whatever reason may have been imparted upon you and as a child, or maybe it's your attitude towards money, whatever it is, you're absolutely wrong that you're not qualified to be a real estate investor. So if you're dealing with that right now, I'm talking to you today. Okay, giving you just a little bit of background on who I am. Obviously, you've been listening to the show. I hope you've been a long-standing member of the show, but I started right where you are today. As a matter of fact, my first real estate deal, which I hilariously explained in the first episode of the show, the very pilot episode, go check that out. But I distinctly remember working as a software tech in the industry, and though I really wanted to transition into being a real estate investor, I didn't know where to get started, and to be honest, I wasn't sure I had what it took to do it, right? If you're dealing with that right now, which so many of my clients when I first meet them are, I want to chat with you about getting through that imposter syndrome. Because as a person who bought a house not knowing anything at all, okay, keep in mind, if you listen to that first episode, I was working as a software tech, going day to day. We affectionately called ourselves code monkeys, which was probably not a great reference right now, but every day was going on to our computers and dealing with the problems that we were having with the software. So people would call it and say, well, my software won't do this. And I would look at the code and why it wouldn't do that and see if we could reissue that code. That would go to our software development team who would verify the change in code that I had just written and then put it into the next release of the software. That was the essence of what I was doing all day long, okay? As so many people, I really didn't like my job that much. I went to work every day because I had a wife. I still have a wife, a beautiful wife, and 3 wonderful children. But at the time, my focus was on making sure those people were okay. And if you're the head of your household or you're not the head of the household, I know you've got to be feeling that, especially when we're dealing with a recession that's not exactly a recession inside the United States. It's got to feel a lot like you're not sure if you can even do this real estate investing thing. Maybe you're feeling like you missed the boat because the market was running completely unchecked during 2019 through 2022. It just felt so crazy and arguably easier to invest than it feels right now. What I want you to know is that your first step in becoming a real estate investor, you've already accomplished. Here's how I know that. You're listening to my voice right now on the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. You could be watching Netflix. You could be downloading and listening to the latest Taylor Swift album, right? My daughter's a big Taylor Swift fan. It is nonstop Taylor Swift in my house right now. It's like, I love Tay. I love you, Tay, but like seriously, too much Taylor is not good. Sorry for the segue. Anyway, you could be listening to Taylor Swift. You could be out playing with your dogs, right? There's a number of things you could be doing, but you're listening to this show right now because a part of you wants to transition from whatever it is you do into a career in real estate investing. Now, first of all, why? Well, why do you want that lifestyle? Well, maybe you have friends or family that were real estate investors prior to you. Okay, you've seen the results. If you're a real estate professional like an agent, you're constantly seeing people who have achieved success inside of real estate. Either they're your broker owner and you've seen them invest in real estate. You've helped other clients. I can remember when I was selling houses in 2008 and 2009, I was constantly helping clients to find deals in the marketplace, and I'm handing those deals over and I'm going, man, I wish I could buy this. Okay, but maybe like you, I was facing imposter syndrome. I didn't know that it was something that I could actually do. I thought that real estate investing was limited to rich people, right? That I had to somehow be wealthy to do that. Now, don't get me wrong. It takes a certain amount of capital to be successful in any sort of investing, okay? If you're going to invest in stock, you're going to need to be able to buy stock. Now, that means you're taking some of your existing income or savings or wherever it is you store your money, perhaps that jar of quarters that you set next to your bed, and you're going to take that money and you're going to invest that into real estate, okay? Your imposter syndrome right now is helping you to believe that you can't find deals out there. But let me tell you, with the market that we're heading to right now, this is the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast, and just about every other episode is talking about how foreclosure filings are up across the country. Denver, I'm in the big Denver market in Colorado Springs, is hugely up on foreclosure filings. Because of the interest rate increase that has happened in the past few months, pretty much every city in the nation is seeing people who wanted to sell their property, because that never changes. There's always a certain amount of sellers in the marketplace, regardless of what rates are doing. But they wanted to sell their property. They saw what their neighbors had gotten to sell their property as the market went to all-time highs, right? And they listed their home, and then it didn't sell, and whatever reason they had to sell didn't go away. They're still getting divorced. They still lost that job, right? They still have moved kids out of the household. Whatever their reasons were to sell didn't change. What changed is now the market is not conducive to doing it. So if you've got a person who is trying to sell their home and is now not able to do so, a couple of things might happen. One, they might rent it out, right? They might turn it into investment property. As a result of that, a bunch of people have listed their homes for rent. As much as we've seen an increase in for sale inventory, we've seen an equal, if not greater, increase in the number of rental listings that are out there right now. Okay, so all this ties back into you may be worried that you can't find any deals. Right? I can't buy real estate. Everybody wants too much for their house. That might have been the case a few months ago, though I can tell you, as a person who flipped 47 houses in 2021, we were not having trouble finding deals. The sources that we used to find deals changed a little bit. We weren't buying as much of the deals on market because the competition was extremely fierce. But don't get it twisted here, okay? I gotta shift your mindset. You are capable of finding deals in the marketplace. You just haven't been trained on exactly how to do it and where to do so. One of the tools that I use all the time is the Privy application. You can check out Privy in the show notes. I'm going to leave a link to my affiliate link on Privy. And when you do that, schedule a coaching call with me, because I'm going to show you how to use Privy to find a deal right there in your local market. Because there are literally deals everywhere, but you got to get out of your own way here. There are deals. You are capable of learning how to find deals. The next thing where people struggle a lot is how to figure out if it is a deal. Now, listen, there are obvious signs. You've learned how to do a CMA if you're a real estate pro. If you're just a complete layman to the industry, you have likely seen tools out there, Zillow, Realtor.com, ways to figure out what a property is actually worth in the open market. You've got some confidence, right? But if you are actually looking at deals, if you're getting deals from wholesalers or you're looking at the market to find deals, okay? And I know for certain this has happened to you. You saw the rundown house, the for sale by owner sign in it, the cobwebs in the windows, and you went, man, I know that house could be priced to a good deal. And maybe you took the steps to actually analyze that deal and figure out how good of a deal it was. Why didn't you go further there? What happened between seeing a deal, identifying an opportunity, and going through it? Is it that you don't have the money? Well, in my fund stage, I show you how to invest in these distressed properties without using any of your own capital. So that's not actually the excuse. It's that you didn't know that either, okay? So you didn't know how to find deals even though they were always around you. You didn't know how to analyze those deals, and you weren't confident that you could fund it. All these are leading in to the imposter syndrome that stops people from taking that first step into real estate investing. I know because I lived it myself. Okay, we flash back to 2007 when I was doing my first deal. I was terrified. I did not believe I could do it. Do you know what changed? I got coaching. I got help. I talked to people who were well ahead of me, already successful in that arena. I asked them what I needed to do to be successful in that field. And then, wait for it, I did it. That's a critical action here. Okay, so you're struggling with the same stuff every one of my coaching clients has struggled with, and I want to mentor you through it right now. Listening to this podcast, let me assure you of one thing: you absolutely can be a real estate investor. You absolutely can make an income buying properties high and selling them low. This has been going on since the beginning of real estate, and honestly, the beginning of any market. Whether you're buying stocks, you're buying cars, you're buying houses, there has always been a market for people who wanted to, I guess, speculate on the ability to buy an asset at this number and sell it at a higher number. What has changed is today the access to people who can help you do it. Listen, I'm a professional business coach. Okay. And I'm just really coming into terms with that because I've been a real estate investor for the majority of my professional career. All I've really known is real estate as an agent and now as an investor. And now I'm transitioning from that, and I'm not going to stop investing. I've gotten good enough at the investing side of it that I can continue to invest almost passively, so it's not taking up as much of my time, particularly in a slower market that we're in right now. So the focus is now that I'm looking for people who are looking for that life transformation from whatever real estate profession you're working with right now into a full-time real estate investor. But what I'm dealing with a lot of times when I'm talking to people is this imposter syndrome, this lack of belief that they're even capable of doing this thing we call real estate investing. And the thing you're mostly concerned about is the fixing angle, in my experience. Most people are afraid that they don't have the construction experience, and I know for certain I don't, to lift a hammer, get a paintbrush, paint a property, put in new cabinets and countertops and all those things. And I got to tell you, this ain't about swinging a hammer. Okay. In my course, the 5S of Foreclosure Investment System, I spent a lot of time explaining in the fixed arena that the objective is to find the professionals to do this. And listen, in every other aspect of your life, you'd go find a professional. Right? If you needed to have your liver removed, and obviously that just means you need to cut down on the drinking a little bit, but if you're needing to get rid of your liver, you would not go, well, I'm going to watch a DIY on YouTube, grab a scalpel, and go after this, right? You probably don't do your dental work yourself. And if you are cutting your hair by yourself, there's a reason why people are pointing and laughing at you as you walk by. The bold method stopped being functional in the 1980s. Sorry, Mom. Right? So in most aspects of your life, you're willing to go out and find a professional. Right now, you may be struggling with the fact that you don't believe you can garner those resources. You can find the professionals that you would want to go in and work on your property. And we call that in every profession, but particularly in real estate investing, it's imposter syndrome. It's largely based on where you grew up, what you were surrounded by, and now who you identify as a person, right? If you grew up in a poor neighborhood, just struggling to get by, that ability to transition from what you've known your entire life to a completely different lifestyle that allows you to have the money that you want to have, right? Live where you want to live and spend your time where you want to. I call them the 3 freedoms that every real estate investor is aspiring to get, and it's financial, location, and time. But you definitely can get there through real estate investing as long as you can get out of your own way. And that is the largest challenge I am dealing with in the coaching department. I am taking people who have all the skill set, they have all the mindset, they have the ability. What they don't have is that last bout of confidence to just take the first step. Do you remember when your parents were trying to teach you how to swim? Now I'm hoping they didn't grab you and physically toss you in the pool and hope for the best, okay? I hope there was some coaching prior to that. Hey, we're going to hop in the pool today. It's going to feel super weird, but you can do this, right? You can swim from this side to the other side. I've been teaching my kids to swim, since they were babies, and they're incredible swimmers, not just taking all the credit there, but I'm going to take the credit for it. They learned by being pushed into the pool, though. So in one capacity or another, a nice push, right? Not a physically grabbing you and throwing you into the water, but a nice push. That's what foreclosure deals coaching is all about. Real estate investing and anything that's going to make you very wealthy at some point is going to require some degree of mentorship or assistance to give you the comfort and confidence that you need. And a lot of my clients are dealing with the inability to realize how they're going to do this. And the thing that stops them is all of it. Where to find the deals, how to analyze the deals, how to pay for the deals, how they're going to fix the deals to market. What does that even mean? What does market look like? Who's going to do it? How do I avoid getting screwed over by the contractors? What is the house supposed to look like when I'm selling it on the open market? How much should I price it at? How much should I spend on the remodel? All these things are going through your head, and they are valid concerns. Don't get me wrong here, okay? I'm not saying to just throw caution into the wind. I'm saying by getting professional advisement, you are setting yourself apart and you are getting yourself the necessary mindset that you need to do this with assistance. Okay, so imposter syndrome steps into people who don't get this at a very high level and are not willing to step out of their own way and hire the assistance that they need. If you want to learn more about this, that's what the coaching product's all about. Obviously, there's a ton of free information out there. There's this very podcast where we go over how to find deals, using Privy and how we get into the market and we do that, how to analyze those deals, giving you an idea on what the property is going to sell for, what lenders are funding deals right now. That's becoming super critical as the market starts to fade. A lot of lenders are pulling out for fear that the market's going to go lower. Right? Fixing the deal is just one of the many aspects, but then we got to figure out how to sell the property on the open market at a profit. How much profit should you take? Right? Are you even entitled to that profit? Because when you're looking from the outside in, this looks so easy. Right? And you're buying low and selling high. There's a lot of moving parts, don't get me wrong, but the essence of flipping a property is very simple. You're buying a property for $200,000 if you can get one in your market, right? That's worth hopefully $300,000. You're going to fix it along the way to get it to market condition. Depending on what it needs, you might spend $30,000, $35,000. You're going to use other sources of capital to pay for all of this, so you don't have to be like this super wealthy person with money sitting around. If you are correctly finding deals in the marketplace, the capital to do those deals is readily available. And through my education-based private and hard money system, I call them my foreclosure funders, I can actually assist you with getting the funding that you need to do the deal. So you don't need to be the most educated person in the world about the real estate market. Whether you've been doing this for, you just got your license, or you've just been dabbling for 6 to 12 months already, or you've been at this for 30, 40 years, if you haven't done a deal yet, what you are doing right now is probably dealing with some imposter syndrome. And the goal of the coaching is to help you to get past that by understanding that everybody starts there. It is always a problem, and the only way through it is to get the consistent guidance and hand-holding that it's going to take. Now, what happens if you don't do it? What happens if you don't break this chain, this mindset belief, this imposter syndrome? Well, you're going to be exactly what you are today. And if that's where you want and you're okay with that, that's fine. But generally people, especially now, are on a quest to advance their position. They're on a quest to level up, right? They want more money. They want more time. They want more freedom. They want to be able to travel to see their family. Unfortunately, my daughters, my ex-wife moved to Washington, and now my children are located in a whole other state from me. Now, obviously, that's a real emotional thing that a lot of people have had to deal with, but real estate investing gives me the means and the time to go, if I want to visit my daughters this weekend, I just got to book the 2-hour flight, hop on a plane to do that. Is that what you're looking for? Is that the life that you want? Are you sick of being on the commission roller coaster? Are you just uncertain you can do this without help? If that describes you, I would love to chat with you about it, right? I want to get this imposter syndrome put away. Let's get that bad boy put to bed. You can do this. There's no doubt in my mind. The reason you haven't done it is you haven't had the guidance. And there's a multitude of coaches out there, but there's a lot of people who don't have the resume that I offer of 47 flips in 2021, 40 the year before, and a grand total of over 300 deals in my career. So I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to deal with the mindset issues that you have, to deal with the tactics that you're going to have to employ to get this done, and to understand there are some really powerful tools in the marketplace that makes what looks super complicated to the untrained eye actually very easy. The only thing that's in the way right now is you. And I don't mean that to be negative. I just remember when I was sitting in the exact same perch that you were sitting in, how difficult it was to go from a state of inaction to a state of action. But I can look at the podcast download numbers. I know you guys are hearing this. And if you haven't taken action yet, I implore you to do so. Let's have a conversation. Let's step into the arena here and see if the reason why you haven't started buying properties and flipping them at a profit, or buying a rental portfolio and living off the rental income instead of your day job, okay, or transitioning from an agent just sick of dealing with the commission, each at a 3% commission, chasing buyers in this godforsaken market with 7% interest rates and climbing, dealing with unreasonable sellers who want to price their homes well ahead of market because they saw what was happening in the last 2 years and they haven't come around yet. Wouldn't you like to make all that go away? Do you believe that you can? I do. And if you do as well, I would love to work with you as a coaching client for the Foreclosure Deals Coach System and teach you what I have learned over the past 17 years as a professional real estate investor, helping people to transition into the next level. If that describes you, go ahead and check out the show notes below. Click on the link to schedule a one-on-one coaching call with yours truly, the Foreclosure Deals Coach, and a couple other housekeeping issues, right? Go check out the Facebook group. Head on out to Foreclosure Deals Coach Insiders, request access to the group, download the free copy of my book, The Hidden Foreclosure Deals Market. It's going to be in a link in the show notes attached right here. And then again, if you're ready to get started, you're feeling like this is something you want to do, you want to get rid of that imposter syndrome, which I can help you with, click on that link to schedule a one-on-one call with me, the Foreclosure Deals Coach. Let's see if coaching is right for you. With that, this is Donny Coram, your Foreclosure Deals Coach, thanking you so much for tuning in each and every single week and reminding you now and always, don't buy a house, buy a deal.
Thank you for tuning in to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. If you like what you heard here today, remember, new episodes are uploaded weekly. Subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. Do you want more of the Foreclosure Deals Coach? Are you ready to learn the mindset, tactics, and tools required to be a successful real estate investor? If so, click the link below to schedule a one-on-one coaching call today with Donny Coram, the Foreclosure Deals Coach, to determine if coaching is right for you. And remember, don't buy a house, buy a deal.